Snap of fingers. 40 years went like that, like a spark in an ocean. Feels like yesterday that I was a little kid craving to discover what happens when you become an adult. And here I am today, grown up, looking back at his childhood with a smile on his face and some bits of nostalgia. When I was a child, I imagined my 40 years old self as someone very different compared to the naive child I was. As a kid, 40 sounded big. It sounded like you leave quite a lot behind. It felt like you must have achieved something. You must have become impeccable, strong, almost like a superhero. And it's true, it's a lot of time if I think that 20 years ago I was 20 years old and so many things have happened in the meantime. But actually now that I'm 40, I don't feel that much different from the child that I used to be. And the time that passed by still seems so close. I vividly remember many of the things I did in these past 40 years. And I also clearly remember the thought process I went through while doing many of those things. And what's incredibly cool is that, to use a metaphor, I have the feeling that many of the books I completed thus far were just a continuation of the same book series. Or at least I can now see a lot of connecting dots, which was difficult to see back then in my earlier life. When it comes to human connections, I'm lucky enough to say that I can count on at least 5 to 10 people that I can share almost everything with. People I can trust and who love me for the way I am, in my pros and cons. And this is quite an achievement considering how busy my life has been since I started pursuing my professional career and since I lived in 4 countries in the last 12 years. It means to me that I somehow managed to nurture my human connections in a quite decent way. But what I'm proudest of is the way that I'm now able to handle human relationships. In fact, I struggled for a long time with peer pressure and managing other people's expectations, from family, friends, colleagues, to social relationships in general. And this affected a lot my way of behaving towards other people, because I could not be myself. I was a worse version of myself, a less complete one. But then, after a lot of introspection, and also a few therapists, some good and some bad ones, I can now say I'm very proud of the way I handle other human beings, as I'm very consistent to any type of person if people are honest to me. How can I tell if people are honest to me? Eye contact. Okay, I probably exceeded my most optimistic expectations when it comes to education and work. In fact, I grew up in an environment where getting a decent university degree and a regular graduate job was considered to be a great achievement. And I didn't certainly limit myself to that, as I ended up obtaining 4 different university degrees, studying in 3 different countries, in 3 different languages, to then move on to work in another 4 different countries. Work-wise, what I'm very happy about is that I experienced a lot of variety. I started working at a very local level in my birthplace, and then I moved abroad and I restarted on a completely different path. And I tried any type of job, including very humble jobs which allowed me to grow personally and improve my language skills. Then, as I got more qualified, I worked in several legal roles in the private sector, working for big international law firms, international corporations, and then ending up working in an international organization, which is what I do now. I believe that experience in different paths and roles put me in the position to judge best for myself and also decide how to move forward in my professional life. And in fact, this is a great step forward towards the freedom and independence I'm pursuing in my life, and in which I would so much like to discuss here in my channel. So financial fulfillment is quite subjective. What strikes me the most is that financial satisfaction is at the heart of many people's lives, but still people pretend that this is not the case and refrain from discussing it, especially in Europe, which I find extremely hypocritical. Personally, I don't care about having a huge amount of money, but still I value money a lot as an instrument that can allow me and my loved ones to pursue the life we want and to be as far as possible from financial slavery and as close as possible to financial freedom. And again, here it gets very subjective because each of us has a different way to pursue the life they want and to reach financial freedom. In any case, I'm quite happy about where I am finance-wise, as I have a relatively good income which would allow me to stop working and survive for a couple of years in order to focus on the activities I love the most, which is personally my end goal from a financial perspective, to dedicate my life and my time to the activities I enjoy the most. Like this YouTube channel, maybe. Okay, so about my health. I feel pretty much in good shape, and in general much better than some of my younger years. Those times when I was eating junk food and getting wasted during weekends due to lack of real goals. And I've been committed to a much healthier lifestyle since a few years now, and I have to say that I couldn't make a better choice. So I do my best to exercise at least 4 times a week. Last year I ran my first 20Ks, and I'm also trying to learn new sport activities such as kite surfing and skiing, And in general, I feel much stronger in my body and as a result in my mind. And it's not a coincidence that my blood tests have been the best in the last few years. But I still have a few goals for this year. I want to run my first marathon. I want to get physically stronger. I want to improve my diet, which is still too rich in bad sugars and other little addictions I have, such as coffee or cheeses. But okay, I will strive to improve, as I really think and I'm putting it into practice in my life. But okay, I will strive to improve, as I really think and I'm putting it into practice in my life, that a fitter body leads to a fitter mind and vice versa. So let's take care of our health, let's preserve our health, let's improve our health, so maybe I have another 40 years to go. It seems that the more you progress in life, the more you normalize everything. Even those things you dreamed of when you were a child, which seemed so far away before you achieved them. And I can't complain about achievements in general. I wasn't always successful in achieving the objectives I set for myself, and in showing up every day to add those little flags to my uniform. Only problem being, if I look back, I'm not sure whose uniform I was wearing. Was it the uniform I truly chose for myself, or was it a uniform that I was somehow pushed to wear, but which I still accepted because I was unable to take a different path? While I will continue to deal with this question, I reckon that life is not only made of achievements. Sometimes God gives you blessings which you can't quantify as achievements and you can't quantify in measurable terms, but which nonetheless humble you and drive you forward and make you look at life from a different perspective. I was lucky enough to have received one of those blessings on the 31st of July 2017 at 4:53 AM, the day I became a father. And that blessing still humbles me and drives me forward in life more than any other achievement I could ever obtain.